guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm bringing you guys a makeup tutorial, and this makeup tutorial is actually inspired by a makeup look I did on one of my clients this week at work. I already moisturized my skin and did my brows and prepped my eyes, and so now we are just gonna go right into eyes. I like to do my eyes before my face. I know that for some people that seems very weird, but that's just what I like to do. So let's just go ahead and get started. Alright, so first things first, just to make sure that my base on my entire eye stays nice and warm, I'm going to be dipping in to the Natasha Denona Sunset palette, and I'm going to be taking the yellow shade in here, and the yellow shade is called Soul. And I'm going to be using two different brushes for this. I'm going to be taking two different brushes for it. First, I'm going to be taking this really big, fat, fluffy packer brush. It's by Stone Cosmetics. It's just called the large shadow brush. And then I'm going to be taking the Morphe R35 brush, which is a stiffer blending brush, just to blur out the edges but still keep as much pigment as possible. So again, I'm just taking Soul and I'm just packing that color all over the crease. Whenever I do more intense, really colorful, matte looks like this, I like to pat on the color that I'm going to be using first and build up the intensity as much as I possibly can, and then take the edges with a different brush to blend and blur them out. And no, this brush does not have another color on it, it's just stained. I tried to wash it, the other color just would not come out. So as you can see, we have this very nice smoky yellow going on right now. And now using that same Morphe, I'm going to dip into Horizon, and I'm packing that right over top of the yellow, just to make it a little bit more orangey and give it a little bit more depth. And again, as you saw, I like to take the shade and pack it on and then blend it out. Obviously, we're going to have some fallout, as you can see right here, but that's okay. That is why I do not like to do my face makeup first. Now with the Juvia's Place Magic Palette, I'm not going to take the shade Zakia. And with the Morphe M513, which is a fluffier blending brush, I'm going to pack and swirl that color on to make it even more intense. Whenever I'm working with red or orange or purple, like any really deep and rich shades, I like to build the color up, you know, kind of going from lightest to darkest, just to really build up that intensity. And I'm bringing this all the way into the inner corner because this is a smoky eye, and I want this to be really nice and intense. Now see, putting all of those colors down together, you kind of get a gradient, kind of like a sunset going on, and that is exactly what I want. Now taking a more precise blending brush, this is the Morphe M433. I'm going to dip into Pangent from the Natasha Denona palette to deepen up the crease for the smoky eye. And make sure you tapped off any excess before going directly in with this deep and rich of a color, especially red, because a lot can, you know, go wrong with when working with reds. And still with this red, because it is a smoky eye, again, I am still taking this all the way into the inner corner of the eye. And then I flip the brush around just to build up the intensity in the outer corner. And now I'm going to take that same packer brush that we used for the yellow, and I'm going to go into Koji, this really bright, almost neon red, and that's going all over the lid. And again, you want to build up the intensity by patting. You never want to go in with a really pigmented shadow and just go directly in and start swiping, because that is not going to give you any color payoff. I'm just tapping. That brush wasn't really working out for me. I think it wasn't, I think it might have been too many bristles, so I just picked up more of that Koji shade on my finger, and I'm just patting it on. And oh my god, see how much more intense that looks? And then once you have that back on, I'm going to take that precise crease brush again and going back into Panjin, that deeper dark berry red, and just redefining the crease. And then once all of that is done, I'm picking up that Morphe M513 brush again, and just without picking up any extra product, I'm just going over everything. Alright, and now just to bring everything together, I'm just going to put a black line on the top lash line. I'm not going to wing it out at all. I'm just going to put a slight black line just to pull everything together, and for that I'm just using this. And for that I'm just using this Ciate double-sided liner. It has the liner on one side, and on the other side it has a star stamp, which is pretty fun, but we're not going to be using that today. Alright, and now I'm going to curl my lashes, put mascara and some falsies on, as well as doing the other eye off camera, but I will be right back. And I'm back. Alright. Oh, by the way, the lashes that I'm wearing are Bella lashes by Coco Lashes, in case y'all were wondering. And the mascara that I used is the Benefit Bad Gal Bang Mascara. This has quickly, I should say, become one of my favorite mascaras, especially for the lower lashes, but we're gonna finish off the lower lash line after the face. So again, my skin is already primed, prepped, and ready to go. I'm gonna go in with the Urban Decay All Nighter Foundation in the shade 0.5. And I like to put a few drops on this little mixing tray right here. One, two, just that. Now that I'm looking at that, that actually might have been way too much. But it's fine, we will go in sparingly. And I'm just going to apply that using my beauty blender. That's the thing that I love the most about this foundation, is that it goes so far, the tiniest bit, because it is so full coverage. Like, look at how flawless that looks. Alright, I just decided really quickly that I wanted to, for this look, appear just a hair darker, so I added not even one drop of the Milani 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. This is the shade 07 Sand. And I actually really like it. It's really quite beautiful. The reason why I wanted to go for a little bit more of a tanner look for this, I mean, first things first, is because the client that I had that I did the makeup application on was, I hope I'm not messing up her nationality. I'm not sure if she was, Afghani or Pakistani or what, but that's one reason. And also I just feel like these really warm color eyes call for just like a really warm complexion. I just feel like it's gonna go a little bit better. Make sure that you blend it down to the neck so that you don't look like you're a floating head. Alright, so far so good. Yeah, whenever you're using a foundation that is not your color, make sure you drag it on to your ears and your neck, otherwise you're, you know, gonna see that like straight line of demarcation with your actual skin color versus your foundation color, and that's never cute. Alright, next up we're gonna do a little bit of color correcting. I only ever do this if I am going for something a little bit more full coverage. And matte, just because I feel like you can really see everything a little bit better. So I have my Makeup Forever Flash palette. You don't have to go out and get this palette in order to do color correcting. I know Lancome has really nice color correctors. And if you're someone on a budget, I know LA Girl also has some really nice color correctors as well. So you always want to think of the color wheel when dealing with color correcting. Like, for instance, right in here, it's not Fallout, I made sure of it, but there's a little bit of like a purpley color that's kind of showing through there. And when you think of purple, the opposite color to purple is yellow. So I'm just taking this really fine, tiny little detail brush. This is the Morphe M217, just this really, really teeny tiny brush. I'm just going to pick up the tiniest little bit of the yellow. I'm just gonna dab a little of that on right there. And now with my really tiny beauty blender, I'm gonna just blend that in. And then there you go, purple tone's gone. If you're a little bit worried that you went a little bit too overboard with the yellow, like I kind of did right over there, and it's kind of creating like a really weird shadow looking cast, you want to take a little bit of lavender. So I don't actually have a lavender color in here, so instead I'm going to take the red and mix it with the very light blue, just right here on my mixing tray. I just need a teeny tiny bit though, nothing too crazy. And then to lighten it up even more, if you are more fair skin toned like I am, I added a little bit of white. And so I know it's really hard to see. That's the color that you're gonna get. And so then with that, you get a little bit down right there. You spread it out just a hair. Not too much though. You never, ever, ever want to go too much with this. Just a very light layer, and then again blend that out. And there you go, hollowness is gone. Thank Jesus. The appearance of hollowness anyways is gone. And then, like, normally on no makeup days, that little breakout on my chin gets very red, so I would use green, you know, to cover it. But now the redness is not too noticeable, maybe just a little bit. I'll only take, like, I won't even try to apply pressure into the brush. And I'll just go right over here. the thinnest layer ever, even thinner than what we did on the eyes. And then just pat that in. And there you go. And if you're worried about still being able to see a little bit of the color, don't worry, that's all going to go completely away once you put on concealer. So yeah, that's all gonna go away once you put on concealer. And for concealer, again, since I want to be still very matte and full coverage, but still with the more tan skin tone, I'm going to take my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in Fair. I'm going to mix my Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in Fair with the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Almond. Just a teeny tiny bit though. I don't want to go too overboard. That's my little mixture right there. And I mean, we're just going to see how that looks. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Oh yeah, that looks a lot better. So now I'm going to do the same thing to this side. Put it on my Cupid's bow. Chin. I'm just going to blend all of that out. Gonna add a little bit more brightness down a little bit lower, just because with this being a smoky eye, you know, smoky eyes have a tendency to close off the eyes and weigh everything down a lot more. So by adding brightness all throughout right here and inside of the eye, it's gonna just widen everything up again. And I'm also going to take the color Almond, just Almond by itself, and then adding more Shape Tape to that mixture. I'm going to redefine the center. Of my nose and carve out the sides. I'm going for that, you know, James Charles pinched nose effect. And I'm going to blend that out using my medium-sized beauty blender. Oh god, which I should probably wet first. So yeah, I'm just going to blend those sides together. And I'm going to be very, very careful not to swipe at all, because that's just going to move everything around. And then the placement of everything is just going to be totally off. And then you're just not going to have that snatched nose. Right, and so now with all of these like creams on our face, we're definitely going to want to set everything, obviously. So now it's time to set everything into place. I'm going to start with my eyes because they do crease the easiest. I'm going to take my MAC and Patrick Star powder. And just start going directly onto the under eye, just to brighten everything up. Now then, I like to take the Too Faced Born This Way setting powder. It's a little bit thicker. And I will also on my chin, just to make sure that that breakout stays the hell covered. And do this anywhere else that you have a bad breakout. And then to set the rest of my face, the powder that I've really been into using, especially when I'm going for that more matte look, is the Becca Hydra Mist powder. It's so cool feeling. It's insane how awesome it feels. Like, it's really nuts. I never am able to open it though. That's the one thing. Like, I have to have a pair of tweezers on me. So yeah, you give everything just one last nice blend. Much of this stuff, don't forget the neck, because you did put cream product down there. And then without adding any more powder, I like to just press that nose contour powder directly into the skin without wiping it away yet. Same thing with the under eyes, just patting. And then with that chin breakout, just patting everything really nicely into the skin, because again, this is a more matte look, so we want to keep everything as such. And then if you feel like there is still some excess powder on your skin, just take a really nice soft brush and just try to get everything away, especially the under eye area, because my under eyes have a tendency to get very dry very quickly and very easily, because I do have dry skin. With this look and being more tan, I'm going to take the IT Cosmetics Ombre Radiance Bronzer, but the darkest point of it as my contour, and I'm going to take that on a Morphe M530 brush. I really do love this brush for contouring because it just gets right in there. Alright, and now for actual bronzer, finally, here's some use for the thing that I've been holding this entire goddamn time. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Gold Bronzer. And I'm going to take that on my Morphe M527 brush and just graze the perimeters of my face just to get that like sun-kissed look going. And it does have some shimmer in it, so that'll add to the bronze effect. Make sure that you push that into the hairline. Alright, moving on to highlighter. On my client, I actually used the Stila Heaven's Hue highlighter, the putty ones. And I'm going to take that on my Morphe M510 brush. Even though it's a putty, you can still take it on the And if you wanted to build up the intensity with it, you can take it on your finger and then you can just press it. And if you want it even more intense than that, just spray your face with some MAC Fix Plus. take it on your finger again. I'm going to take a little bit of the Hourglass Ambient Strobe Lighting Powder in the color Brilliant Strobe Light, and I'm just going to take that on my fan brush. To the look. And I'm also going to take a little bit on my finger and put a little bit at the tip of my nose. And then for blush, I don't have the exact blush that I used on her, but this one is pretty close. I'm going to be taking my Morphe E3 brush. This is what I use as my blush brush. And I'm going to take this Lychee plus Gold Healthy Glow Rose Gold Blush. Surfing Botanicals. Looks like this. Right here. And I'm just gonna focus this right on the apples of my cheeks. There we go. And now I'm just going to quickly spray my face with some Too Faced Hangover 3-in-1. Alright, now the face is done. Now we're just going to finish up the eyes. So first things first, with this Morphe M432 brush, it's just a flat definer brush. And the Juvia's Place Magic Palette, I'm going to take Zakia, and I'm just going to run that as close as I possibly can to my lower lash line and connecting it, you know, with the outer part as well. And I'm not bringing this all the way in, I'm stopping right here, not taking it all the way in, stopping right here. And now with this pencil brush, this is the Morphe M431, I'm going to dip into Pungent from the Natasha Denona Sunset palette. And I'm focusing this on the outer corner. And now it's time for the gold shade, so I'm going to take this one right here. This is called Sundazed, and I'm going to take that using this smudge brush. This is the Morphe M508. And I sprayed it a little bit with MAC Fix Plus, and I'm putting this all on the inner corner and a little bit on the lower lash line. And then with that same brush and a little bit more Fix Plus, I'm going to take Nubia right here and just go right over top of that, right in the center. And now I'm going to mix Zakia and Nana together. And I'm going to make sure to go just right under that gold. Then I'm going to grab Kessie on a fluffy brush. And I'm just running this directly under everything just to And then last but not least, for the eyes, I'm going to take this Marc Jacobs eyeliner, cream eyeliner in the shade Marigold. And I'm going to run this on my lower lash line. And last but not least is lips. Another Marc Jacobs eyeliner, and this is in the color Fine Wine. And then over top, I'm just going to put Wham Gloss by ColourPop and Laura Lee times No Kill LA. Alright, you guys, that is it for this makeup look. We are all done. Hopefully, I will see you guys in my next video.